Legislative day number 19 will now come to order. Please pause for a moment of silent meditation. I'll now call upon Councilman Quirk, who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. To the flag. Flag behind me.
Sure. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Justice.
Thank you, Councilman Quirk.
Sure.
Is there a motion to approve the journal for the meeting of October the 18th, 2020?
Move it.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Ayes have it. The journal is approved. Enrollment of bills. Bill 85-21 was passed by the council, signed by the executive, and hereby enrolled. Mr. Secretary, will you now read all bills for introduction?
There are two bills for introduction, Mr. Chairman. First is Bill 96-21, Current Expense Budget Recycling Partnership Grant Agreement, and Bill 97-21, sponsored by Councilman Marks, Design Review Areas.
Okay. Thank you. The council will now consider all bills for final reading and vote. Mr. Secretary, first bill, please.
First, Mr. Chairman, is Bill 86-21. This is a bill that was submitted at the request of the administration and is also sponsored by all council members. Animal Services Trap, Neuter, and Return Program, also known as the Joy Freedman Care for Cats Act.
Okay, we have our world famous Dr. Gregory Branch to testify.
Good evening, Council. Good evening, Mr. Chairman. The administration is requesting that a TNR program be adopted in the county code. The Baltimore County Animal Services has operated a successful pilot program since 2015 as a solution to address the free-roaming cat population in a humane and an effective manner. So the Animal Services is proposing the Joy Freedman Care for Cats Act. And if it's approved, the legislation would codify the county's trap, neuter, and return program, require the health officer to establish guidelines and procedures for the TNR program. It's going to define and clarify terms related to the TNR program, such as ear tipping, owner, feral cat caregiver, and TNR. It outlines abandonment or nuisance conditions in relation to the county's rat eradication efforts, and it makes applicable certain sections of the county code to feral cat caregivers, which relate to rabies and rabies control and disposal of deceased cats. I want to reiterate to the council that the TNR program in Baltimore County not only provides sterilization procedure for each animal, but it also provides a microchip and vaccination against rabies. The Department of Health and Human Services advises the legislation that there will not be a fiscal impact because it is establishing guidelines for already activities that we are doing that have been performed in our pilot TNR program. That's it, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Branch. And before I open it up to the members, I just want to thank everyone who testified. We had extensive testimony at the work session. People both for the program and those against. I just want to thank them for their participation. Are there any questions or comments from the members?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Councilman Mark.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate the administration's support of this initiative. And I will repeat what I said at the work session. Joy Freeman was the 5th District Representative to the Animal Services Advisory Committee. She was an exceptional human being, warm, sincere, absolutely terrific in everything she did. She passed away several months ago, and I think this is a fitting tribute and a fitting legacy for her moving forward.
Thank you. Councilwoman Bevan?
Chairman Jones, I just want to check in with the secretary. At the work session, I asked to be added to this bill. And I
Yes,
didn't,
ma'am.
have I been added?
Yes, ma'am. This is
Oh.
an all council bill,
Okay.
as well as the administration.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Any other questions or comments from the members? Hearing none, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Bill 86-21.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall,
Aye.
Mr. Quirk,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Catch. Mr. Catch. I saw an aye.
Okay. The ayes have it. Bill 86-21 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next bill, please.
Next, Mr. Chairman, is Bill 87-21, Current Expense Budget, Baltimore County Department of Corrections, Medication Assisted Treatment in Detention Act, House Bill 116 Implementation Project.
Okay. Director Gail Watts.
Good afternoon, good evening, Councilman Chairman Jones and council members. The Department of Corrections is requesting council approval to accept grants in the amount of $142,440.50 from the State of Maryland Office of the Governor Opioid Operational Command Center. The funding will support the Baltimore County Department of Corrections, MAT, in the Detention Act, House Bill 116 Implementation Project. In May of 2019, the Maryland State Legislature passed and the governor approved Maryland House Bill 116, which requires local correctional facilities to make available all 3 FDA-approved medications to treat opioid use disorders. Programs are required to be in place by January of 2023. Currently, the Department of Corrections offers buprenorphine as a treatment option for inmates diagnosed with opioid use disorder. The Department of Corrections proposes to expand the options for the MAT available in the detention center to include methadone and naltrexone, making all 3 FDA-approved medications to treat opioid use disorder available to incarcerated individuals. The funding from the Opioid Operational Command Center will be used to hire a consultant to review the specific requirements of the House Bill 116 and provide recommendations to meet these requirements, as well as assist with development of a plan to expand the provision of the MAT at the detention center. In addition, funds will also be used to create and hire a staff position to collect and analyze data related to the impact of the initiative and other initiatives and issues related to substance use disorder at the detention center. This expansion would allow the detention center to meet the requirements of the House Bill 116 and ensure that inmates at the detention center have access to the same quality evidence-based treatment for opioid use disorder that is available to individuals in the community.
Thank you, Director Watts. Are there any questions or comments from the members? Hearing none, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Bill 87-21.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Quirk,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Catch,
Aye.
Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Bill 87-21 is passed. Thank you, Director Watts, and thank you, State of Maryland. We'll take the money.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next, moving on to Bill 88-21.
Yes, sir,
Council-
Mr. Chairman. Bill 88-21 is sponsored by Councilman Marks, entitled Metropolitan District Interest Charges.
Councilman Mark.
Thank you very much. Under current law, when a charge is levied for a house connection to the Metro water system, for a sewer connection setup, for a deficit for construction costs, or other water usage assessment corrections, the director may amortize the charges on a 40-year basis. And this allows for a homeowner to pay that connection off over several decades. What this bill does with the amendments that we're pursuing is, instead of charging a 5% interest per year on the principal amount, the director of finance and budget and finance may charge the interest that's equal to the last bond sale. And let me tell you why I think this is important. It gives the administration much more flexibility when it is implementing water improvement projects. All of us in our district have communities with high numbers of senior citizens, and that proportion of people on fixed incomes is likely going to increase over the next few years. These are the people that are particularly vulnerable if they are forced to connect into a public water system. So I think that the administration should have the ability, the discretion to change that rate based upon the interest that it realized at its last bond sale. So that's basically what this bill does. This bill allows for greater flexibility when the administration is pursuing a sewer or water system connection.
Thank you, Councilman Marks. Are any questions or comments from the members? Okay, is there an amendment, Councilman Marks?
Yes, Mr. Boswick, I think I described the amendment, but if you want to add anything.
You did, Mr. Marks, and as you indicated, the current law is that the interest is 5%. The bill originally was drafted to allow a rate from 0 to 5%, and then the amendment that you are offering would set the interest rate at the per annum rate established as the TIC, or true interest cost, in the county's most recent issuance of Metro District bonds at the final notice of special assessment, up to 5% per annum. So it would be what, essentially, as you said, what the county is paying, or if the county is paying more than 5%, it would still be capped at 5%.
And I think, I want to make this very clear. The administration, the executive branch, still has the final authority. They are the ones that have a global perspective on these charges. I think they can make the appropriate assessment here.
Thank you,
I do have one
Councilman
question.
Marks. Is there a motion to approve
Mr.
the
Chairman,
amendment to Bill 88-21?
Mr. Chair, I believe Councilman Quirk wanted to say something.
Yes, Councilman Quirk.
thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a quick question. I think I know the answer. So ultimately, this is the discretion of the budget director on a case-by-case basis. Is that correct?
That is correct.
But there's no like standard, like, okay, well, we're gonna have one lower interest rate for, say, Baltimore County citizens on a fixed budget versus, say, Baltimore County citizens, senior citizens maybe have unlimited income. It's purely just at the budget director's discretion. Is that right?
If I could jump in, Councilman Quirk, and I may be speaking out of turn, and I would certainly welcome Director Blade to come on. But I had the same issues and concern, but I was under the impression that maybe this was spin off of making sure that we don't overcharge the citizen if we are getting the money. If we're paying less interest and they are to reimburse us, then they would pay us for what they would pay the same rate that we're getting the money for. That they wouldn't be paying more and we're paying less. We're making money off of that. That's the way I understood it. Now, I could be wrong, but is that the way you understand it, Councilman Mark?
I believe so. And we worked with Mr. Blades and the administration on this because I think there was a concern, about arbitrarily going to 0, and that's where we came up with this standard. But I invite Mr. Blades to jump in if he wants to.
Thank you, Councilman and Mr. Chairman. My approach for this would be, if we're talking about the health required projects for a health benefit because of failing septics, and I would look at that, and I hope any following director would as well. But I would look at that project as an entire project, and everybody in that receiving the benefit, we have the same interest rate. I don't want to make it too complex for those who have to administer the program where you have multiple interest rates. They should all have the same one on a specific project.
So should we put that language in as an amendment, or, because what you said made sense to me, Ed? But is that in this bill?
I don't think it's currently in even in the law as written. Well, I guess it's in the law because it's 5% across the board for everybody. This is just changing the interest rate. I'll defer to the council and Mr. Boswick and Mr. Benjamin if they feel that we need to better, define it to be specific to a project.
What type of impact are we talking about here, Ed? Are we talking about a couple dozen cases a year where we think this case of, I mean, what type of numbers are we talking about here? Like on average, would you say?
It's going to vary each year. I see Ms. Rogers has her hand up. If we could, if I could
Well,
give her the floor.
Can I ask one question before we get to Ms. Rogers? Director Blades, so when you said based on the project, I was under the impression, at least I'm under the impression, the idea is to make sure that if we are borrowing money at a certain rate to make the repayment,
Yes.
we're paying 2%, that we don't want to charge the citizen 5%. And if that's the case, if we're borrowing it at 2%, however long we're borrowing the money at 2%, I would think everybody would be entitled to 2%. If that's the purpose. But when you say per project, it gives me the impression that it can be 2% today, and then across town it can be 5%.
Well, on average, we sell Metro bonds annually.
Right.
So whenever a project is implemented, we will look at what the interest rate was for the last sale, and that would be the interest rate that everyone receives.
It might be helpful for Mr.
Yeah.
Boswick to read the amendment.
Yes, I can
Yes.
tell you exactly what the amendment says. So it would indicate that the director, at the director's discretion, the director is empowered to amortize the charge, that is the connection charge or extension charge, plus interest thereon at a fixed rate from the per annum rate established as the true interest cost in the county's most recent issuance of Metropolitan District bonds at the final notice of special assessment up to 5% per annum on a 40-year basis. So it would be a fixed rate, and it would be the per annum rate established as the true interest cost in the county's most recent issuance of Metro bonds at the final notice of special assessment. And I think maybe Mr. Blades could maybe clarify what that means, the county's most recent issuance of bonds at the final notice of special assessment.
We typically issue in March, and that's when we have that true interest amount, and that will be applied for every project that comes online within that given year.
Correct. Mr. Chair, that's what I was
Yes.
going to allude to when it said project. In a given year, if a project, a health and safety project with the connection needing to take place, they would all receive the rate. Say it was 2% for that year, but then the next year rolls around and say the bond rate is 3%, then the group of projects would be 3%. But at no time would it ever be higher than 5%. That's the cap. Even if our bond rate, and God forbid that it went that high, but even if it were 6% to the county, the proposal is that it would be capped at 5%. But at any time during a given year, whatever the per annum is what the projects would be. But I wanted to address Councilmember Quirk's question about, is this a couple here or there? Councilmember Quirk, we can anticipate that this number could increase over time. And the reason why is the aging of the housing stock and well and septic. As those systems age, literally there's a life expectancy. So we know that in certain communities, those septic, well and septic could potentially go bad and then have to be replaced. We know that the individuals who purchase those homes in specific time periods, like those of us who've been in homes for 30 years and the ages we are now, in communities where there's well and septic, this could indeed increase.
Yeah,
On the aging of the housing stock and the aging of our residents who basically own those properties.
And it's all health and safety. I mean, this is all for the public health and safety. I mean, we're talking about just those projects specifically, right?
Yes, sir. That's
Yes.
my understanding.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if I could, as the law is currently written, it's 5%, and the budget director has no discretion at all.
Right.
I think this is very fair to the citizens of Baltimore County because it ties it back to what we issue bonds at. Currently, we're averaging 2.5%. So I think that's fair. And we're collecting an interest rate that we're paying out. Right, because without this change, we're issuing bonds at 2.5%, but we're charging citizens 5%.
Right.
Right. No, I totally agree with that. I don't think it should be a profit center for the county. I mean, because ultimately it's for the good of the community and the health and safety for the citizens. So I totally support the philosophy of it and just want to make sure I understood the application of it.
And I really want to thank the administration. The administration worked very hard with me on this. And I think we've reached a good solution that looks out for those, particularly on fixed incomes, who have to do this through no fault of their own, but also respects the taxpayers at large.
And given that 25% of our population and a goodly number are homeowners, are 60 and older, we
Right.
have older population, so we do fully support being able to finance these projects and offer the same rate that we're paying.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
quick question for Mr. Blades. Mr. Blades, you said that the average is 2.5%, the interest rate. And
That's been for the last 3 years. Yes, sir.
okay, that was my question, like over the past 5 years, and I know it's impossible to anticipate what it'll be in the future, but you feel confident that it's going to be below 5%?
I certainly hope so.
Yeah, I guess we're all in trouble if
Yeah.
it hovers higher than that.
Right.
But by
Thank you.
having a cap, I'm sorry, Councilmember, I'm sorry. That's why
That's it,
having
I'm done.
that cap, right now it's 5, but having the cap and keeping it there, but having the flexibility to go below that at the same rate that we're paying is reasonable
It's a good deal for
and
the citizens.
equitable.
If it's less than 5, you get a break. If it's more than 5, you get a break. Good
There
deal.
you go.
Heads I win, tails I win.
What
Heads I win, tails you lose.
One quick question is, I really like the application that Mr. Blades is applying. Is that something that we need to codify for the future, eventually when Ed retires, 15, 20 years from now, we'll keep him for a while. Is that something that makes sense to codify or is that something that's just better just having as a policy? I'm just asking that to anybody who wants to answer. And also wanted to second Ed Blades' comments. If we're over 5% on our financing costs, boy, we got some big problems, not only in the county, but in the whole entire country. So let's hope we don't see it for a long time, if ever again. All right, so that question was out to everybody, Bostwick or Ed or anybody. Does it make sense to codify it as well or just apply it as a policy?
I mean,
I don't, Mr. Quirk, I think your question is alluding to Mr. Blades' statement about the projects. I think it is, and I'll defer to Mr. Blades again, but I think it is codified because it is doing it based on that year's final, that year's issuance of Metro bonds at the final notice of special assessment. So whenever that is, and I think Mr. Blades indicated that it is in March of each year, then I guess and again, he can speak to the exacts, but for the projects then during that year, that's what the rate will be. So I think it is codified, but I'll defer to Mr. Blades.
I agree with Tom. And then if there's any discussion as far as that is the intent is to all the projects, all homes within a given project would have the same interest rate. Should they participate? And anyone who would follow me there will be examples in place. So the practice will be in place and they can always look back at this video and doing their homework, right? To see that my testimony on the application of the interest rate, what the intent was.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I have a question.
Go ahead, Councilman.
The council, I believe in our last session or maybe the previous session, we approved a health and safety project like the ones that we're talking about with regard to this bill for some homes in the 7th district. Would this bill be retroactive to recently approved projects, or is it strictly prospective?
So it'll be, I would think if there was a recent approval from the council to do those projects, they would be included in this. It is the interest rate when the homeowner signs the agreement with the county. That's when the project is complete, the houses are hooked up. So it's not upon council approval of a project. It is it's upon the total completion of that project.
Okay, great. Thanks for clarifying. Appreciate it.
I
Thanks,
bet you like that answer, Councilman, right?
Of course.
Yes, that was the right answer.
Any other, Councilman Quirk, you okay, or?
Oh, yeah, no, this is great. Fully supported.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone, including the administration.
And 5% over 40 years, 30 years. It's probably very good rate. Even 2.5% is great. 5% is good too. Is there a motion to approve the amendment to Bill 88-21?
So moved.
Second. Second. It's been moved and seconded. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on the amendment to Bill 88-21.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Mr. Catch,
Aye.
Mr. Quirk,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall,
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka.
Aye.
Ayes have it. The amendment to Bill 88-21 is passed.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
yeah,
Councilman.
may I make a comment about this bill
Absolutely, sir.
at this point? Thank you. When I saw this particular legislation introduced, it reminded me that we're having public water and sewage installed where property is not, in other words, that the water there is not healthy for people to drink. And in Baltimore County, there's the problem of wells being polluted by Baltimore County government. And this happens when the salt is applied to roads in areas with wells. In fact, it's so bad that I have visited constituents. Their faucets within a year are dead. Wash machines, ice makers, dishwashers, all fail sometimes just within a year. When you see what salt does to these appliances, I think you'd be shocked. The other thing that happens is it affects, in many cases, the pipes in the wall. So you have pipes bursting, leaking, and it's a tremendous expense to these individuals who are hit by this salt in their wells. And of course, it's very unhealthy as well. Anybody who's suffering from water retention, there's nothing worse than well water that is full of salt. And what I was thinking at the time is, okay, if a particular street in the county is hooked up because of the health and welfare of the citizens, and if it can be determined, which is not hard to do, that this pollution was indeed caused by Baltimore County, why should these constituents pay any interest on something that is the county's fault? Now, right now, the state of Maryland has a program. Let's say that you have a home near an entrance ramp to I-83 or 95, and the well turns out to be polluted with salt. The state has a program where the state will pay to have a system installed that will remove the salt from the water, and they also maintain the system. It can be fairly expensive to maintain it every year. Now, we did have such a program in Baltimore County, but no longer. So, yeah, I think this is a problem we're going to have to face in the future. I realize that the solution that I was looking for will only solve a very small part of the problem, very small part, because I'm only talking about individuals that are hooked up to public water. And we need a policy, we need something done that will help all families in Baltimore County where the county has polluted the well. And there's no question it can be proven that the county polluted particular wells. So I just wanted to make that statement. I was going to amend the bill, but I realize it's just going, as far as equity goes, it just would not be equitable. So, I may very well put in legislation to ask for a study to be done as to how we can resolve this problem. So you have all these appliances destroyed. It's very expensive for a system to take the salt out of the water, and then it can be fairly expensive to maintain that system year after year. So, Mr. Chairman, I thank you very much for allowing me to speak, and I'll probably get a hold of Mr. Bostwick and we'll draft something to get the ball rolling on this particular issue.
Thank you very much, Councilman Cat.
Chairman?
Yes, Councilman Marks?
Just very briefly, I want to thank Councilman Catch. I know he has talked about salt pollution, particularly into the reservoirs for many years, and I just want to thank him for his concerns.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any additional questions or comments? Is there a motion to approve Bill 88-21 as amended?
So moved.
There a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Bill 88-21 as amended.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Mr. Catch,
Aye.
Mr. Quirk,
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Bill 88-21 as amended has passed. The council will now consider all fiscal matters. Extensive testimony was taken at the council's work session on October 26th. The witnesses who testified at the work session are available to restate their testimony if needed. If a council member has any questions regarding a particular fiscal matter, that item will be discussed as a separate matter. I'll now call upon the secretary to read the cover letter for fiscal matters 1 through 7.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Fiscal Matter 1 is an agreement with the United States Geological Survey for continuous record steam flow water quality gauges. Fiscal matter 2 is a contract with Action Elevator Company LLC for maintenance and repair. Fiscal matter 3 is a contract of sale with Powell Farm LLC for the acquisition of parcel 4223 Bedford Road and 4211 Buckingham Road. Fiscal matter 4 is 5 contracts on call for cleanup of derelict buildings and properties. Fiscal matter 5 is a contract with Beechwood Assisted Living LLC for senior assisted living care services. Fiscal matter 6 is a contract with Grace Lutheran Church for congregate meals program. And fiscal matter 7 is a contract with Nelson Mullins Riley and Scarborough LLP for legal representation through the Office of Law.
Any questions or comments from the members? Are we
Yes,
all
Mr. Chair.
comfortable voting on 1 through 7? Do I hear someone?
Yes, Councilman Patoka.
Councilman Patoka?
Just a comment on fiscal matter number 3, the acquisition of Paul's Farm. Over the weekend, I had the opportunity to speak to the presidents of some of the nearby associations, Paul's Crossing, Villanova, and Willow Glen South. And they asked me to thank the administration for this. This is really important to these communities and also for Williamsburg. And they also asked me to thank my colleagues in advance in the anticipation that this fiscal matter may pass. But it's a very, very important open space opportunity for an area that sorely needs open space. So thank you, Mr. Chair, and urge my colleagues to support this one.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Councilman McCack?
Yeah, I just want to comment on this, something I didn't realize. I was talking to Mr. Blades the other day, and I don't know if you know it, but Villanova was the community that a famous Baltimorean, Blaze Starr, that's where she lived for many years. And I thank Mr. Blades for letting me know that.
Wow.
Who's the famous person, Councilman McCack?
Blaze Starr.
Oh, okay.
I thought I saw Mr. Blades riding along Villanova Road one afternoon.
I wouldn't make such an accusation, but maybe it's true. Did you know she used to live in your district?
I'll admit this to my colleagues. I think they say confession is good for the soul. When I was a child, we used, because I think Miss Starr is deceased, I think.
Yes, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
But we used to walk by her house with the hopes that we would get a glimpse of her. But we never did. I actually believe that her house may have been acquired by the county because Hurricane Agnes may have, I think it was part of the floodplain that, Mr. Likens, you seem like you may know if the county acquired it as part of Villanova Park, where there used to be a partial neighborhood.
No, I'm just laughing at Mr. Blades.
Okay. Sorry, Ed.
I don't know if that was 100% accurate.
Well,
Just saying.
actually, the source, the person I described as a source of my information is about 0% accurate.
Mm.
Am I right, Mr. Blades?
Well,
Now you're accurate, Councilman.
let's, are there any additional questions or comments on the fiscal matters 1 through 7?
Actually, I was a little concerned when I heard. I thought we were going to be hearing that the house is on the landmarks list now. I wasn't sure what was happening, but we're okay.
Okay, is there a motion to approve fiscal matters 1 through 7?
I'll move it.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on fiscal matters 1 through 7.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall,
Aye.
Mr. Catch,
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins,
Aye.
Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Quirk.
Aye.
Guys have it. Fiscal matters 1 through 7 are approved. We'll now consider all miscellaneous business. Mr. Secretary, first item, please.
Mr. Chairman, whenever a contract over $25,000 is awarded by a process other than formal competitive bid, it's required that a copy of the contract be given to the council and the nature and parties to that agreement be announced by the secretary at the next legislative session following award. There are six such contracts this evening. The first is a purchase order with Real Tox Labs LLC, doing business as Real Diagnostics for COVID testing services. Award total $404,530. Next is a purchase order with the KeyW Corporation for an annual maintenance plan through the police department for wireless direction for lawful wireless direction finding operation for the department, known as the KeyW's Condor system. Award total of $35,000. Next is contract with Verizon Maryland LLC for selective routing database services, estimated award of $660,000. Fourth is a purchase order with Rexel USA Incorporated, VFD service and related parts. This is a sole source due to the distributor being a unique distributor, $73,402.67. Next is an agreement with Towson Post 22, the American Legion Incorporated in Towson, for jury selection services at that facility. And then finally, an agreement with Potter's Industries LLC, Visilock glass bead for applying traffic paint, estimated award total $258,500.
Any questions or comments? Next item, Mr. Secretary.
Next, Mr. Chairman, is Resolution 134-21. This is a resolution submitted by the administration and also sponsored by Councilman Crandall to accept a donation from Valent Biosciences LLC and Helicopter Applicators Incorporated for free application services for midge treatment in Back River. This is for introduction only this evening.
Thank you. Next item, Mr. Secretary.
And next is Resolution 135-21. This is sponsored by Council Members Marks and Patoka. This is a resolution requesting the Baltimore County Advisory Committee on Environmental Quality to review the maintenance periods for afforestation and reforestation projects, also for introduction only this evening.
Thank you. Mr. Secretary, is there any further business to come before the council?
There is no further business, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Let's have it. The meeting is adjourned. As is customary, anyone who is registered to speak online prior to the meeting is allowed 3 minutes to speak. Mr. Secretary, are there any speakers signed up this evening?
I believe we have 5 speakers, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Belcastro?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Our first speaker is David Harvin. And Mr. Harvin was on here just a minute ago, and now I do not see him.
Guess we can get back to him.
Yes, we will. Our next speaker is Marie Laporte.
I'm here.
Yes.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Members of the council, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak this evening. I'm very concerned about issues pertaining to the environment and what I perceive as a lack of initiative and leadership from the council and the county executive in this area. On Friday, October 29th, Maryland experienced yet another weather event that produced flooding in several areas within the state. These events have grown in frequency and threatened property and agricultural within our coastal state and county. Maryland's Eastern Shore is increasingly becoming inundated by weather events. Land subsidence has increased salinity on farmland, rendering growing areas infertile, and half of Dorchester County is expected to be underwater within the next 20 to 30 years. The increasing number of catastrophic events is causing widespread property damage and significant increases in property insurance along the coast. And yet I see very little evidence of anything besides business as usual in Baltimore County. Since the last census, the county population has grown by about 150,000 people with proportional development. While other counties in Maryland, including Anne Arundel, Frederick, and Howard, have worked to reduce deforestation, Baltimore County has continued to approve whatever's in the best interest of developers, regardless of the impact to trees, forest, quality of life for residents. The state of Maryland recently determined the amount of methane, a potent greenhouse gas created by landfilling organic matter, was 4 times the previous estimates. And yet our county has no composting facilities, and in fact has county code prohibiting bin composting of food, which would divert food waste from landfills and reduce methane. While Howard and Montgomery counties, Baltimore City, and 4 other cities in Maryland have started to address our growing waste stream by passing legislation banning single-use plastic bags, Baltimore County continues to use about 300 million single-use plastic bags annually that are landfilled, incinerated, or littered within our county. Single-use plastic bags are made with fossil fuels. They harm animals as diverse as livestock, birds, and marine life. They are among the top 5 pieces of litter collected on beaches and become microplastic waste when easily blown into our waterways and oceans. While studies are ongoing, it is believed that microplastics may be ingested and harming our oysters, which is the last arrow in our quiver to save the oceans and protect Maryland's $600 million seafood industry. As the leaders throughout the world are gathered in Glasgow to discuss climate change, the citizens of Baltimore County need you to step up. The days of business as usual must end now. Stop telling us that you care about the environment. Start showing us. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Laporte.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Just really briefly, I just wanted to say I completely agree with her on her view of plastic, single-use plastic bags. I think she's 100% correct, and I'd be willing to discuss that with other members if you guys feel the same as well.
Thank you, Councilman Quirk. Thank you, Ms. Laporte. Thank you, Councilman Quirk. And next speaker, please, Ms. Belkat.
Mr. Chair, I just reached out to Mr. Harvin via email, and he did lose connection and wanted to just thank the council for voting on the for approving the Palace Farm purchase. So I just wanted to relay that message because somehow he lost his connection, and that is why he signed up to testify this evening.
Okay, thank you. Next speaker.
Our next speaker is Charlie Hoppe. Mr. Hoppe?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
To the members of the council, thank you for allowing me the opportunity. I sent a letter to you this past weekend. I know it was a little late, but it had to do with the zoning for the new voting in Baltimore County. And one of the areas I wanted to address is up in my home area. I live on Hanover Road, which is in the northwest, up the end of 795, put you in place. And my concern is that section, there's a piece of the to the west of 30 and then down to 140 to Franklin Boulevard that had been included in the district along with the rest of Reisterstown. It kind of completed Reisterstown as a community. And what I was seeing is in the new map that has actually been changed. Anything west of 140 and 30 or into, I guess, mostly District 4 instead of District 2 now. And that concerned me a little bit about dividing the community a little bit. Well, we've had some issues up here where being one community has really helped a lot. And I'd like your consideration and be able to address everybody to let them know that we're interested in seeing that little section being returned and making us back to what is really our main street, if you think about it. And as I mentioned in my letter, that is a historic district defined too in the Federal Register and that. So I'd like to, as we go through this changes and as we develop the new voting districts, that we consider that. So thank you very much for allowing me the time to speak to everybody. If you have questions, you're welcome to respond to my letter and I'll provide you what I can.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hopper. We appreciate it very much. Next speaker, Ms. Belkacem.
Our next speaker is Deborah Kleinman. I do not see Ms. Kleinman on our attendee list. I will go to our next speaker, who is Melinda Mack. And Ms. Mack is no longer on. I will say that Ms. Mack also signed up to speak about the Powell's Farm property, so I'm assuming that it has been voted on, and that is why she is no longer on the WebEx. Let me do one more search for Ms. Kleinman. I do not have her on here, Mr. Chair.
Okay, well, we thank all the callers for calling in and letting us know what's on their minds. We certainly appreciate it. And there's nothing else from the members. That'll conclude our meeting for tonight.
Ms. Rogers has her hand up, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Ms. Rogers.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Chair. Thank you. We'd love to get Ms. Laporte's contact information because we'd love to talk to her about the various efforts that are underway and to connect her with our new Chief Sustainability Officer about a number of the issues and concerns that she raised. With respect to plastic bags, you know, we just changed the regulations around use of plastic bags for yard waste. We're removing the plastic bags from yard waste, and we're happy to talk with you all more about single-use plastics. But Jennifer Iosa, our Chief Sustainability Officer, a number of things that Ms. Laporte talked about, we're definitely working on, and we're definitely working on as a part of our solid waste recommendations that we're currently implementing from the solid waste work group work this summer.
And Ms. Rogers, let's not forget our solar activity.
Absolutely.
All the solar we're installing, as well as the goal of the county to be to produce so much of its electricity by wind and solar, basically.
Right.
And the movement of the fleet to electric cars. So there's a lot of activity, but oftentimes what happens is, we like to give people their opportunity to say what's on their mind, and we try not to get into big debates because sometimes, it causes other people not to have an opportunity to speak because, if you're debating with one person back and forth, it can be a long time. But clearly we recognize what the county is doing in terms of trying to be good stewards of our natural environment.
Right. That's why we just like to get her contact information if you don't mind, if Ms. Hewitt could provide it to us. Just love to reach out and let her know what we're doing.
I will forward the speaker registration list to you, Ms. Rogers.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Ms. Kleinman did text me. She's a constituent, and she's saying she can't get in. She was going to talk about the plastic bag ban and the survey they did. So I'm just passing that along. Chris, she's not in the lobby or anywhere.
No, I think I may recall seeing her on at one time, but as I said, I said this at the hearing. Unfortunately, we always sometimes have some glitches. She can certainly, it's up to the chair. She wants to provide a phone number if she wants to call in. or she can, of course, send her testimony in writing. If this is a decision up to the council, not myself, but we can certainly try to reach out and get her on in some other way.
She's the Baltimore County chair of the Sierra Club, and a very, very knowledgeable person. So I look forward to hearing her testimony.
Mr. Chair?
Yes. You still not in?
No, Mr. Chair.
She sent me her phone number, but
Is she online? Is she on by phone?
she says she's listening online.
What's
she
her?
can't get
Oh,
in.
you can't. Can you please text me the number?
Yep, I'll take care of it right now. I'll send it to you right now.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
while they're all doing that, I thought I'd just like to take a moment to say congratulations to Tony, our mail lady in Baltimore County. She just celebrated 32 years with Baltimore County, and I think you all know Tony. She makes sure that we get regular mail and our inter-office mail, and she always has a smile and a good morning or a good afternoon and a nice word to say to people as she's passing through the hallway. So next time you see her, you might want to say congratulations on your 32 years.
32 years. That's absolutely wonderful. Certainly appreciate
Mr. Chair,
Tony, sir. Yes.
I've located Ms. Kleinman,
Okay.
so I'm going to go ahead and unmute her and let her do her 3-minute testimony. Ms. Kleinman?
Hi, how are you all doing?
You're great. We're glad you could join.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you all for all the hard work you're doing. I just wanted to let you know that we have been doing shopper surveys around the state, and we did one for Baltimore County. And like David Marks said, Councilman Marks, I am the chair of the Greater Baltimore Group, and we cover Baltimore County, Baltimore City, and Harford County. We surveyed 54 grocery stores in Baltimore County, 6,800 shoppers, and the numbers of stores, well, I said 54, 10 of them were Aldi's, and over 50% of people that go to Aldi's use reusable bags, and 44% use no bags because they do not provide quote unquote free bags when you're checking out. The Giants, Safeway, Food Lion, Shoppers, Wegmans, Weis Markets, 8.3% of the people use reusable bags and 5% use no bags. 86% use disposable bags. So that's 98.8% of all the shoppers with disposable bags had plastic bags at 44 of the grocery stores that provide them. Now, these are the same, very similar stats that were in Baltimore City. Their ban just started on October 1st, and we are going to go and do surveys again to see how it is going in Baltimore City. We believe because Baltimore County surrounds Baltimore City like a donut, that it's very important to have these these lines. We'd like to have the bans, you know, in the city and the county because people can go across the street to Baltimore County and get these quote unquote free bags. So we are going to, we have some writing, some laws, you know, we do have some of the writing, and we are going to hopefully contact those of you that are interested. We're going to be contacting you all. We can write a bill about banning plastic bags in Baltimore County. Like Ms. Laporte said, you know, the scientists are saying we are eating about 1 credit card worth of plastic every week. And Baltimore County uses over 300 million plastic bags a year. It's about 365 plastic bags per person on the planet Earth. And so that's all the plastic bags that are used on the planet. And, you know, 1 in 5 of the pieces of litter in the ocean, plastic bags, that's 20% of the plastic in the ocean. It comes from plastic bags. you use it for 15 minutes and then it gets thrown away and it lasts in the environment forever. Recyclable, I mean, compostable plastic bags do not really compost very well. And so we're just putting out the information. Once again, we surveyed 54 grocery stores with volunteers in Baltimore County, and it doesn't look good when it comes to people bringing reusable bags or not using them. So I thank you so much for your time. And we know about Jen Iosa, and we are in touch with her. We're communicating with her as well. And we do appreciate all the work that you all are doing to help Baltimore County and beyond.
Okay. Well, we certainly appreciate you. We're glad we were able to get to you, and you were able to make your point. We certainly appreciate it.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question.
Yes, Councilman Gat?
Yeah. Are there counties in Maryland that charge a fee for a plastic bag, or is it just a situation where the use of plastic bags is not allowed?
Well, actually, Montgomery County has a 5-cent tax on plastic and paper carryout bags, but I believe they're going to change that. Baltimore City has a ban on plastic bags and a 5-cent on other bags. Howard County has 5-cent tax on plastic bags, and that was effective October 2020. Chestertown, Laurel, Tacoma Park, Westminster banned plastic bags. There are 10 states that have banned plastic bags in the United States altogether, and Delaware is one of them.
So there's not a situation then where the use of plastic bags is not allowed, yet a fee is charged for plastic bags. I think one of the jurisdictions, that's what you had said. Was it Howard or?
Howard.
I believe, no, it's Montgomery County and Howard, actually.
So they have a fee and don't allow plastic bags.
No, they just have a fee.
The fee.
Yeah, they have a fee.
Discourage people from using.
But they don't ban their use.
It says, yeah. Some places are banning them and some places are charging for them. The thing is that the reason why Aldi's groceries are so inexpensive, for one thing, is because they are not putting that fee to the customers, because you think you're getting free plastic bags, but you really aren't, because the cost of food is that much more at a Giant than at an Aldi's, and that's one of the reasons, is because of the plastic bags.
One of the reasons. I wouldn't go too far with that one, but I hear you.
Sure. I mean, there's a lot of other reasons in Aldi's, but, I believe that Aldi's has done a great service to this country, and they are not having a hard time. They're expanding big time. Their stores are growing. People are using them. A lot of people bring their laundry baskets and just wheel their groceries to the car and put them in their laundry baskets, or they use the cartons that they provide, or a lot of people are bringing reusable bags, and you do not see that as much in the stores that just say, here's a bag, here's a bag, here's a bag.
Okay. Are there any, thank you so much. We appreciate your testimony and your commentary. Are there any additional questions or comments from the members?
Yes, Mr. Chair, just a quick question. Did I hear you say that Montgomery County taxes on paper bags? And I was just wondering what the thinking was behind taxing on paper bags.
Well, I believe that they want, because they charge 5 cents on plastic and paper carryout bags, and this is since 2012. Montgomery County is doing that, and their stats are not as good as some of the places that have banned them in terms of people bringing their own bags. Basically, what a plastic bag ban is supposed to do, and we have seen has done in other states, is that it creates new habits for people bringing their reusable bags. We know in Europe that plastic bags have been banned, for years and years and years, and they raise their children to put a reusable bag in backpacks when they go to school, and everybody carries reusable bags. So a 5-cent tax is not enough to deter people from buying plastic bags, spending, $1 on plastic bags to get 20 bags for their groceries. We have noticed that a larger tax on bags will deter people from buying them, and it will help them. Aldi sells a much stronger plastic bag, I believe, for 10 cents. And people, you see them reusing them over and over and over.
I think Councilman Patoka, I think the idea would be to check with those places like Howard County, Montgomery County, because it may be that, it depends on what they're doing with that 5 cents. They may, I don't know, but they may be doing some other things that are good for the environment, or funding programs. Who knows? Who knows what it is?
And there's another.
Not to get
excuse me.
into it, but go ahead. We have another question. I'm not sure. Let me go with Councilman Quirk.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman Jones. I'm interested in data as far as the 5-cent fee or tax, and if there's a drop off at all, and so how much, and then what would be the cost per bag to really encourage people to really use other types of bags, bring bags with them, etc. There's probably studies out there, but I'd be curious, and I heard you basically say that maybe 5 cents a bag doesn't work at all. I'm wondering if it does, or what drop off.
Well, I mean,
that would be interesting to see.
Right, and that's what Baltimore City has done. They're taxing. I believe they are charging. I've got to get I don't have all the stats with me, but we do have an expert who's our zero waste lead in the state. Her name is Martha Ainsworth. And, we would be happy to have her come and testify, and maybe, but what we're hoping to do is meet with those of you that are interested. We're going to be getting in touch with you all, and we can sit down with you. And I know Martha will be at those meetings. But we believe, as far as I remember her saying that 10 cents is much better than 5. And we're going to see how it's going in Baltimore City. We're going to give the bag ban like 2 months, and then we're going to go and do the survey again and see how things are going.
Yeah, I think. Wait, Councilman Quirk, I'm sorry. Anything else, Councilman?
Yeah, I mean, I'd definitely be interested in exploring it more. And obviously, beside the impact in our waterways, for sure, which happens. I mean, it's so unsightly. You drive all around the county, you wait for any day the wind blows, and you just look up in the trees and you see, unfortunately, thousands of plastic bags just littering the whole dang county. So just something definitely I think we all should explore more for sure.
Yeah, I think it would be a prudent on our part to, we'll get someone to set up some research. That way, no disrespect. I have tremendous respect for the Sierra Club, but clearly you have a point of view that may be different from others. So it's probably a good idea to hear from everybody.
Right.
Find out what would be the impact of banning these bags or taxing these bags, and what that number would be, and what Montgomery County and Howard County is doing with that 5 cents. Why did they choose 5 cents? So to your credit, who brought up the issue, it is something we had talked about before. And obviously this may be something you're bringing up today, may be the spark that causes us to look at it some more and maybe take action. So we thank you for your comment and your advocacy on trying to save, saving the environment. I try. We're all doing the best we can.
All right.
Any additional comments or questions? All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful night. And again, thank you to the callers who called in. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good night. Good night, council members.
Thank you.
Good night.
Night, John Boy.